Welcome to the Compass Method, powered by Purpose and Plants, where science meets soul and thriving begins when you find your true north. Hosted by Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill, a double board certified physician, mother of three, and founder of the Tiny Beat Lifestyle Medicine and Pediatric Clinic, and
Chelsea Dye, a certified lifestyle medicine coach, wellness strategist, and creator of Alchemist Untamed. This show brings the real science to real life, powered by our passion project, Purpose and Plants.
Each episode explores how small shifts in food, movement, mindset, and family life can create massive results. Together, Dr. Yolanda and I share a compass for better life, a grounded guide to plant-forward health, brain-body balance, and modern motherhood.
From pediatric wellness and family health to neuroscience, nutrition, and mindset mastery, we will help you pause with a purpose, align your habits with your values, and rediscover what it means to thrive.
Powered by Purpose and Plants, because thriving begins when you're powered by Purpose and Plants. Well, hello friends. Welcome to the Compass Method, powered by Purpose and Plants, where science meets soul and simple everyday shifts can fuel a happier, healthier life. I am Chelsea Dye, a certified lifestyle medicine coach, wellness strategist, and entrepreneur, as well as co-founder of Purpose and Plants. And this is Dr. Yolanda Rivera-Caudill.
I'm a pediatrician and double board certified in pediatrics and lifestyle medicine. And I love everything that I can do for kids to eat more plants and veggies. Many ideas.
Yes, and so we are bringing you the simple lifestyle medicine tools that you have within yourself. We're bringing attention to those in order to, one step at a time, live happier, healthier lives, mind, body, and spirit. So today we are talking about a topic that I think is so important and relevant this time of year: holiday stress. We just had the privilege of being on WSAV on Community Corner with Kim Gusby talking about it, but this is an extended version of holiday stress, a little bit about the science behind it, and then how to move through it with grace and beauty and better health overall.
Yes, so there are many things that people don't realize. Even stress, even if it's a good stress, like you're happy to see your relatives because you haven't seen them, this is the time of the year that you get together, it's still stress. Mm-hmm. And if you don't learn how to deal with that, it can take away from the joy that you will have with the gathering of being together.
Well, and I think a really important thing, even before we dive even further in, is the power of our breath. So I'm a big proponent of breath work, and we don't need to make it overly complex. We do it every single day, but so often we're not realizing what kind of the quality and how we're using or not using our breath for power. So let's together now take an inhale, that's 5 counts, and exhale for 7. So inhale, and then exhale. So what you'll notice there is that when you inhale and exhale for a longer period of time, it calms your nervous system. It can regulate your vagus nerve, which I think you probably have heard a lot about recently, and elongating the exhale even to double as long as the inhale is really important. Just a couple of minutes of that before you jump into your day, before you walk into a family gathering, is so important.
Yeah, and the thing with making a pause to have just some breathing time, literally, people do not believe that this is an important tool. They believe that this is nothing. Mm-hmm. But pausing to let your brain to take over to your thinking brain and taking a deep breath to relax your system can go a long way. And not just, several times during the day. And especially if you feel like this is a stressful situation, this is exactly when you need to learn how to pause.
So talk to us just a little bit about our thinking brain, our feeling brain, and how, stress can respond. It can impact our response if we're not monitoring it.
Yeah. I mean, in our biology, our brain is designed beautifully to protect us. Mm-hmm. Okay, so stress is an important part of survival. Mm-hmm. If we didn't have it, we we would not have been here.
Yes.
But stress should be a small amount of time with being in stress, because it's supposed to save us. I mean, your example that you're running from a tiger. You need all your muscles and your brain to function to escape, or fight, if you want to do that. But when that state is continuous, is chronic stress, that's when it's not good, because the cortisol level increases. So there is an area, the amygdala is kind of like is sensing all these things. And if we that's in the back part of the brain, to say. And what we want is to engage the thinking brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. And how do you start engaging the prefrontal cortex?
Yeah, tongue twister.
How do you start engaging the prefrontal cortex? Is with a pause and a deep breath. That's a very simple way. That's not the only way, but this is one of the cues that the body gets. Hey, I do not have, for example, you're upset about something. I feel like punching a wall. And if you don't stop to think, that your brain is going to tell you, that's not a very good idea. Yeah. Maybe you want to run away. You're going to run or jump in place or scream might be a better option to release that stress. So it's very important that we learn to know what our body is telling us.
Yeah, and if you think about the holidays, there are so many different generations that come together, and if you have younger people in your household or are coming to visit, sometimes you will notice that the reactions are so dramatic. But if you think about our prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part of our brain, does not develop until so much later in life, until the 20s, fully developed, and so this is an opportunity to maybe look at, during this holiday time especially, look at your experience with maybe your teenager, like if you're like me and you have a teenager, and their reaction, and use your breath as a cue, and then suggest to them to take a breath as well. So, talk to us a little bit about, let's talk actually a little bit about some of the other challenges. I think we hear, you and I probably both uniquely hear that with the stress of traveling, your stomach can get upset, your routine can get off. You obviously eat things you wouldn't be eating otherwise. Let's talk a little bit about the science behind that, and then what we can do to still enjoy the holidays, but find a little bit more balance.
Yeah, you want to, of course, you're going to change the routine, but you're going to try to stick as much as you can. For example, if you normally have a walk in the morning, try to incorporate that in your vacation time. If you have, you're used to certain foods, try to bring that with you. That's going to help, even though there is a shift. Sleep is a big thing. Yeah. Sleep is a big disruptor in those times, and it's fun and it's good, but then try to wake up as early in the morning so that you get the sunshine exposure, and it helps your circadian rhythm to go in sync.
Well, I think, a challenge is, so you stay up late and so you think I should sleep in late. But even a couple of days of that can really impact your body overall. So being as consistent as you can with your sleep-wake cycle. I know on a personal front, when I made that shift, it made all of the difference. That even if I was up late, I would still be consistent about getting up within a 30-minute window of when I normally do, and getting outside, getting that vitamin D in the sunlight, getting the fresh air, breathing, doing my morning routine, regardless of where I was or where I am. I still do that. That makes a huge impact. Let's talk a little bit about the GI system and the impact that stress has on our GI, and then how the holidays affect that.
Well, we start eating things that you normally don't get. You start eating plates from people that, eat new foods and all that. So that by itself impact the microbiome. And going out for a walk again is it helps your immune system because it helps the microbiome. So again, sleep does that. So even if you pay attention to those little things, it is going to help you're feeling better. You're more calm to attend the gatherings and stuff like that, and trying to incorporate things that are fun, not just sitting and watching TV for hours on end, because that's gonna make you feel worse. Yeah. And
what's good for your gut is good for your brain. It's good for your brain. It's good for your gut
and your heart.
And your heart.
They're all connected.
I think something that is a really a powerful tip is to consider that so often people get stressed out by their family during holidays, and what happens when you're eating and you're stressed. So your body, instead of registering that you're getting full, especially if you're shoveling food in your mouth or stress eating, I know a lot of people have a challenge with that impacts your gut, not only your digestion, but then your feelings of satiety.
Yes.
So, I mean, what are I can share some things that we do in our household, but do you have any other suggestions as to how to work to get out of that stress mode when it comes to eating and maybe reshape your dinner time experience?
Well, I try that, the food is usually on the table, but try to, because there's so much food, you tend to fill the plate so much. I like to serve small amounts, kind of like to a taste of everything. And then if I want to have seconds of that particular thing, not filling my plate and then feeling like I have to eat the whole plate.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd rather go several times and get a little smaller amount than having a huge plate. Because sometimes truly it might not be very good. And then you have it in there and you're kind of like stuck with those weird green beans that you never intended to eat anyway.
And you feel bad if it's, if it's Gramenelli who's sitting next to you or,
like,
you
don't like my green beans.
Yeah. and that's a really interesting thing. It's like managing people pleasing during the holidays, along with pleasing yourself and filling your own cup is a challenge.
I was listening to Mel Robbins the other day, similar to this, and she was saying like so hard sometimes because there are people that are not easy to deal with. It's just your relatives or very close people that you want to go, but in reality, you want to go with no expectations.
Yes.
Like, okay, what my expectation is to have fun or to connect to these people, and if that's your only expectation, the rest let it flow as it goes. Because sometimes you want it to make in your brain, you want it a certain way, but in reality, it's different. It's difficult and it's going to be, and try to avoid certain topics if you can. So that's one good thing. And the other thing that people don't realize, if it's a place or a gathering where you don't feel safe, probably it's better that you don't go altogether.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't feel pressure to go if you feel that you're not going to feel safe in that space, even if it's your family. Yeah. So that is very important to give people permit. You don't have to go.
Yeah.
If it's something that they're difficult, but you want to share with them, that's different. You can do that.
Well, and that's, that brings up the power of choice and mindset when it comes to all of this. We all independently as adults have a choice to decide when we're engaging and when we're not engaging in everything. And that brings up, something that we talked about on WSAV, which I think is really interesting, that we have a habit of not being present. So not having expectations, but also presence is power. So let's shift this. In this culture now, we are so inundated with so much information, and our phones are attached to us. In fact, mine was on the chair. And I think during the holidays, it's easy to get caught up in the loop of doom scrolling.
Yes.
And so maybe this is even an opportunity to take a digital detox and
to make new traditions. I always like the idea of we're making new traditions because your family might be used to certain things, but you can start a tradition that we walk after dinner.
Yeah.
For example, it helps lowering your blood sugar, it helps the connection, it helps all these things that we're talking about. We never done that as a family. Well, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
If your family doesn't want to go, then you do it by yourself. But still, or starting this new game. Pictionary, we're talking about that we both like.
Pictionary. Yeah.
I love it. My family has such a good time doing that. And that's a family tradition for Thanksgiving, for example. But it's a tradition that is away from the phones.
Right.
And that's a new tradition that you can start. If you see that everybody on the table is not connecting, this is the one time of the year, people, that we're together. This is the one time that we're not going to have our phones. Put it in a room outside or a way that nobody can hear it. Yeah. And just watch the kids getting enjoyed and engaged in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I always like to do conversation starters. Like, like I call them the Miss Universe questions.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like what is
Miss
it? Where
yeah.
would you like to be? And I don't know,
Right.
silly questions, funny or things like that, or more deep, depending. But just to get, and sometimes you get to 2 questions, and that's fine.
Right.
But it's a way to break the ice and not being awkward.
Well, and going back to our purpose to share these things that you, as our listener, have and our watcher have within yourself, we all have the capability to answer a silly little question like that. It might be silly, but it can be an icebreaker. And the power of creating community and creating new traditions, and maybe even asking the oldest person at the gathering and the youngest person at the gathering which traditions they would like to create, and that finds a way to bridge the gap.
Them.
Yeah,
and then it's so important. Or you bring now, and then talking to Kim about stories. The power of stories. I was listening to a doctor in psychology, and she was talking about how important is that for the kids to know their family history.
Yes.
Oh, your grandparents did this and then, but not just sugarcoating everything, just being real. Yes, they came, they had nothing, and they worked very hard. It was difficult to do this, but that becomes your part of your story.
Yeah.
And it is so important for the developing brain that you have that in your life, I am part of this bigger picture.
Right. And going back to the blue zones, this is to our first episode where we were talking about the blue zones, the centenarians that actually, the communities that have the highest number of centenarians, the storytelling, the community component, the sharing meals together, the movement component are all crucial and essential. But let's bring it back to like the more specific other holiday challenges.
The food.
Yes, that's right. Well, Dr. Yolanda and I are both plant forward, or I'm completely plant-based, and she is as well. And we are not suggesting that is the only way to be, but plant forward is the way of the future. And
there's very little discussion for that.
Yes.
And that's the best diet.
Yes. And I think something to think about during the holidays is the 80-20 rule when it comes to health and wellness, or health and wellness, but specifically food. Filling up your plate with as much of the good stuff, and that means as much fiber and vegetables and
colors.
Yes, and colors as you possibly can, and reserving the 20% for the most decadent. And that doesn't mean the pies. That sometimes means the casserole with all of the sugar and all of the marshmallows on top of it, that you have a smaller portion of that. And, only eating until you're 80% full too. And I think that's one thing that gets missed, that we think during these holidays you gorge yourself.
And that's what but then you don't feel good.
Yeah.
And you enjoy more if you leave leftovers for the next day. And being mindful about, part of, you're distracted, you're having conversation, which is a good thing, but tapping into your brain and your stomach, we're good now, and we can have some space, and I can eat more afterwards. The Japanese are good at that. They have that 80% rule that they teach the kids. And the other thing was...
well, what about, I have to interject this. So I've been plant-based for a very long time. I think maybe in comparison, just the two of us, you're a little newer to it. When you made the transition to, like, say, holiday meals and being plant-based, which means no dairy, and I know that's a big addition. How did you manage that, and what are your new favorite things?
Well, I still do, some of the traditional food. I do arroz con gandules, which I always done, except I don't put the ham in it.
Okay.
Or the pork,
Wait, and what is that?
As rice and pigeon beans.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's a traditional
It's so beautiful
meal.
when you say it, yeah.
So that I still do. It's a part of my plate. I mean, it's funny because one thing I realized with Thanksgiving, it was like, I don't have many limitations here, because truly what I would eat normally is the side dishes, except for the ham or the turkey. We would eat anything else that was on the table. So green beans, sweet potato casserole, and sometimes, if depending on what I might do it myself. A cranberry sauce. all these things that from scratch tastes better. Where we always indulge is in my husband's tradition of eating German chocolate cake, because it's been a tradition for years, and this is what he expected. So it's what we do, and it's made just the traditional way. But then again, that's fine. I don't have any guilt.
No.
And you know what? When you start thinking about eating 30 plants instead of counting calories or thinking if this food is good or it's bad for you, but you want to eat more plants, more colors, and count them. I think it's so much fun because sometimes I have, I don't know, 17 plants in one plate.
Well, and if you think about that, that's something for our audience, is that if they can go to their holiday meal and see how many fruits, vegetables, and that includes nuts and seeds, are in each one of the dishes, I think that's even more, and see if you can make it even into a competition. You know, that's kind
maybe this holiday we're going to hit 30 plants on the table.
Exactly.
Very easy to be done.
Oh, it's very, very easy. So what's your favorite Thanksgiving or Christmas? You know, because this may come out after Thanksgiving.
Well, I like the arroz con gandules.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. And sweet potato, anything.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
Well, and if you think about when it comes to reshaping your meals, if you're being empowered to be the one cooking and maybe making some healthier swaps in the old traditions, it's not as hard as you would think. You know, you use non-dairy milk for milk. If you choose that, instead of butter, you can use olive oil. You can, there's lots of ways to get a flavor of, say,
hummus.
Yeah.
Use hummus, you know, like it takes some time to understand how to do the swaps, of which we have some ideas in our website.
Yes.
And, but it also, one thing that I loved about that is that I felt lighter. I felt better when I didn't have all that dairy stuff, and my body was so grateful that I was doing that. So I don't know why not to keep doing it, because it was so good.
Well, and the proof is in the non-dairy corn pudding, that, you know, that the way you feel when you fuel your body with good things, that means good thoughts, good food, hydration, breath, movement. When you fuel your body with that, you just feel good.
Yes. Yeah. And then again, incorporating new traditions, doing things, and having the kids involved in that, because they're creating traditions too. I mean, I wish my grandmother would have allowed me to cook next to her, but she was like, no, yeah, I don't need you here. So it would have been so good. I would learn a lot more. I was not interested anyways, but she would have offered me to help her. I would have learned so much more. So incorporating the kids comes a long way too.
Absolutely. And so, you know, we've got so many tools on our website, purposeandplants.com, that you can go to, and we have got a Master the Market grocery cart list or grocery cart class, mini master class, that has basically a rundown of how to swap if you're looking to be more plant forward. How to incorporate healthier choices in your holiday and even into 2026. I have a couple of other things. You know, I know that people like to indulge with alcohol over the holidays. And there's a massive amount of research and evidence now that alcohol is not really that good for us.
Yes.
You know, I think we've known it for a while, but now I think it's pretty obvious. So, you know, if you choose to have wine or whatever your choice cocktail is, that's your choice. But maybe you start with a refresher, and you know, I love mixology. It's like my favorite, but it doesn't have to have alcohol. It can be
and it can be so good.
Yes, soda water with orange bitters and a teeny bit of unsweetened cranberry juice and a little bit of thyme, and that's like a different, you know, and you can even add some variation of a little bit of healthy sweetener in there as well. But, you know, I think that's something where if you want to feel like you're indulging and having some, like a cocktail, you can have a mocktail just as easily.
Mocktails are coming out, I mean, like they're becoming a thing, and that's for that reason. You know, people are realizing how much damage they do with the alcohol, and you don't have to have alcohol to enjoy this delicious mocktails.
Exactly,
And they're they're adding to your plans.
Well, and if you have it before dinner, which is the real tradition of having it before dinner, you're also hydrating, and I think that's part of something that we forget is hydration is just so easy.
Yes.
And it's like takes you one step up. So whether you're starting your day with proper hydration or going into a meal not dehydrated, if you're hydrated, your body is able to sense your satiety more fully. Any other tips and tricks? Aside from moving, we have to always move after our meals.
Yes.
But what other things? Is there any other things that come to mind?
Dance while you're cooking.
Dance while you're cooking. I mean, Yolanda is like a lover of dance, and I can dance while I'm cooking, but I won't be the prettiest. But it's not about that.
No. But basically, yes, trying to enjoy and try not to be perfect. Try not to make it. It's not going to be perfect. The meal didn't look as it looks in Pinterest, and that's fine. It still might taste good. Involving everybody in the household, trying to have fun instead of having the expectation, and creating new traditions. Be brave, and it's like we're going to start doing this from now on.
So you're your own experiment, and treat this new version of yourself. And every day you have a choice. You can wake up and be happy. You can wake up and take a step towards a better version of yourself, or you cannot. And we empower you to choose to walk towards a better version of yourself, one healthy choice at a time. So in closing, you have your breath. You have your walks, you have your community where you come together with your family and friends, and you want to
choose to.
Yes, if you choose to, it's your choice. And you have your sleep that you can always fall back on, and you have a plant-forward diet that can fuel you in the proper way. So we wish you the healthiest, happy holidays, and stay tuned for part 2 because we'll be uncovering some extra tips, tricks, and tools to mastering your holiday stress and beyond.
Yes, it can be done.
And finally, we need our Spanish recap.
The Spanish segment. Yes. Okay. Para las personas de habla hispana, yo les agradezco que estén aquí mirando nuestro podcast, oyéndolo. Y lo que hemos dicho es básicamente cómo incorporar para disminuir el estrés que sucede en las Navidades, en Thanksgiving, que es natural, porque son muchas cosas que están pasando, que si los regalos, que si comprando, que si todo eso, y le quita a lo que es realmente importante. Pero si tratamos de mantener una rutina hasta cierto sentido, estar hidratados, dormir bien, tratar de no incorporar tantas grasas en la comida, aprendiendo a hacer unos excepciones, aprendiendo a hacer las cosas de una manera distinta, se van a beneficiar todo el mundo. Y yo les recomiendo que nos sigan en las redes porque tenemos siempre muchas más ideas.
Well, that is always so beautiful, and I don't understand it, but I will soon. And so that concludes our health, part 1 of Health and the Holidays. Please join us because in the beginning of January, we are launching our academy where you get a chance to learn all about how to live with more purpose, more plants, and step towards a better version of yourself, one step at a time. We are now HSA and FSA approved, so you can use your flexible health spending before the end of the year in order to join the 2026 reset, step into your best self, and check out all of our master classes and our Master the Market. So cheers to you.
Yes. Have a good holiday, and thanks for joining us.